Here we go. We are live. We grab a link to my stream, share it on social media. Go. Okay. Streamer mode is on, but would like it if it actually showed my stream on Discord as well. Try and register that while people are joining in. If you're watching the replay, thank you. You can skip ahead a few minutes while I'm getting things set up and people are joining. But this is going to be a fun little chill session. If you want to put this in the background, watch me work while doing something else. I have linked my my YouTube on Discord, but it's not doing the thing of showing my stream, I guess. I guess this is not a feature yet. Fair enough. Okay, let's get to work. So, today we are going to be creating a thumbnail, which is based around implementing Streamlabs into OBS. Simple as that. We're just going to be showing some interface elements on the canvas. It's a simple little tutorial video, so that's what I will be doing. I can color pick this directly because it is the color of the main color of Streamlabs OBS. So this layer sketch. Put it on top. And here I will have a dark gray background. This. Brush settings a little bit and hide the sketch, otherwise I can't see anything. Darker. Yeah. Okay. Next up, I'm gonna go and need the Streamlabs OBS logo. Or Streamlabs logo, rather. Perfect. Just gonna rasterize this and then convert it into a smart object. Guess I should do that before I scale it down so I have more quality. Yeah. Rasterize layer. So that's in place. Perfect. I'm gonna need a really tall font. Yes. Need a very condensed font. It's a very tall as well. Probably gonna modify the font a little bit. Something like this could work. I want it to be even narrower. Oh. My go-to is usually Nichrome, but Nichrome has really wide letters when there's curves, like this G, D here. I want something even more condensed. We have kind of like that. Yo, Hamad, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Kind of like that, but this is a cartoony font, and I would like something a bit more regular. Lower the volume of the music. I have a feeling it's a bit loud. It's fine for me, but I have a feeling it's a bit loud on the stream. So, we're looking for something condensed, very condensed. Ah, that could work, but there's only one way, and I need it to be bold. That kind of works. That's a good one. I can probably turn that into... Yeah, Babus is a classic one. I'm gonna do multiple. I'm gonna do this. Try Babus new. Bold. Okay, about the same really. More condensed. What else do we have? bricolage. This. I take this font, then I go to width and crank that to the left. Not really. It can get pretty compact. The G is not as legible as the other ones. How often are these streams? That depends. It really is dependent on how I feel. This is the second one that I do. Last one was last week. I don't know, there's not really any kind of regularity to the streams. But I try and do them whenever I feel like streaming. We are not doing impact. No impact font on this stream. Ooh, that's pretty good. League Gothic condensed. Ooh, that's very condensed. That was regular. There's some good ones. I'm looking for a particularly bold font here. I want some width on the letters. Condensed fonts tend to be pretty thin, which is normal, but I want something a bit blocky. Using a font takes a while. Well, yeah, in this case it's going to be a pretty centerpiece in the composition, so I do want to make sure I have the right one. I want it to be legible. I want it to exactly the way that I'm envisioning this thumbnail. This could work, although their brand is all about rounded things, right? This logo is super rounded, so I would want curves as well. That's decent. Okay, I like that. I think I'm gonna pick this. And do something like full guide. Then squish. Okay, maybe not that much squish. Smaller and a bit of squish. No. 2 lines maybe? Need to tweak this. Okay. Let's do the rest of the composition first. So this is what I had in mind. This is the sketch that I provided to the client. The client said yes to that, so I'm going to focus on the rest of the composition, and then we can go from there. It's going to be a rectangle with a white stroke. Let's do this, but smaller. I want the eyes be visible on the logo. Okay, yeah, that works. Now it looks like it's kind of peeking over the window, right? And that's what I want. I'll bump this up to a 10. Put another line in here. And I'm gonna need the OBS logo. Somehow that's taken a while. On here. That logo is that heavy. I'm gonna push this shape down. Need to round this corner more. I don't know if I want it to be rounded like this to match the circle, or almost not rounded at all, like this. Maybe that's better. Let's see. I'm gonna remove the fill, and I'll have the fill be a separate layer. Fill window, window stroke, gonna be window top bar. Gonna need a color in here. Put black for now, and then use color overlay in Photoshop to have editable color, whichever I want. I'll experiment a bit with it, see what I like, but yeah. Color overlay. Here we go. I think I'll do something like this. Then I'm going to have a shape here in a different color. That color is going to be this color. Because of color overlay. Let's see, it doesn't show the color above it if there's color overlay. I don't think I need the bars anymore, do I? I do this. Right, give it a moment. This will look good eventually. Let's put a shadow on here. Multiply. No distance. Put a bit of shadow on the window. Do 50%. It wide. And let's add a text here. Put that in a default system font. So Arial, I guess, is the default looking font. We have a look at the OBS interface. Yes, studio. It's nicer with 2 words. Boom. That kind of works in terms of composition, having 2 lines like that and having the text on top. Now I do need to make this prettier, and by a lot. Gonna need an arrow. Go ahead and color pick this. Here. Up. Aligned. Move the stroke. and add a shadow. I'll put distance on this one, remove some spread, make it a bit of a tighter shadow. Bring these two closer. See that there is a lot more space on one side, so this is not weird. If I select these two, I can probably distribute them. Not distribute. Try and that a bit. Oh. Should make an arrow pack or something. Yeah, I don't really use these. I just make my own whenever I need to, but I don't use arrows very often anyway. Ditch the shadow and add it manually. Round this a bit. Is it roundable actually? Oh, it's on a fill layer, so no, not really. That is just a shape now. Because I got rid of this stroke. Doesn't quite have the oomph that I was hoping for with the simplicity of the sketch. So I think I was banking on this window being a tiny bit smaller and then giving me an opportunity to have more window elements in there. Well, I could still add those. Make this a little bit smaller and use the word OBS as a better indicator than the logo OBS. I need to align this with the logo. And I need to move this. Might change the logo for a version that's just flat, because it would look better that way, I think. And I'm probably going to take some liberties with the way that this looks overall, the Windows interface. I will remove this bar at the top. I will remove the fill. Go into this, add the fill back here. Give it a drop shadow, no distance, 20 spread, 150 size. Perfect. Gradient overlay, I think. Yeah, like that. Put that on 100% scale. That makes the window stand out nicely. Now let's add the text back up. So OBS here. Shrink the logo a little bit again. Gonna take more text here, put it into regular, write some words, file, edit. Make those smaller, put them below here. File. Selection. Just mimicking the entire interface. do a different rectangle. This time it's going to be covering these. I want that with no stroke. It's going to be multiply on 10% opacity. That way it just darkens it a little bit. And duplicate that, put it below. That's going to be on 0 again. Or 100. Okay, let's put it darker. This. Next up, let's make all of these texts a gray so that they stand out a lot less. Because it's not really about those in the thumbnail. They should be spaced out more, so we should be able to see less of them. I'll delete one, profile here, and there we go. Perfect. I will select all of this and move it down a little bit. Give some space to the OBS bar at the top. Logo. What is this? Do, 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 do. do. And yes, Rez, I am getting paid for this. Of course. Thinking of getting a darker version of the logo, just a simpler one. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I will move the stroke. I will put a bevel on the window, make it look nice. Soften. Hit pixels, chisel. The music is Animal Crossing. Pretty chill. Just wanted some chill music, so works for me. Okay, that works. Let's copy that bevel and emboss on the other elements as well. Maybe not that one, doesn't need it. This one could use it though. Maybe not a bevel and emboss, but I will add a gradient on it. Something like that. Let's put a bevel on the logo. This one I think I can make a much larger bevel with a lot of softening. Pillow emboss. Oh, I see. Pillow embosses on the inside and outside. I want a inner bevel. I want it to be very soft. Soft light and very low on the multiply. That should do it. getting somewhere. Now what happens if I take the arrow here and just put that all the way down here? Then set this. Pull on that handle here. Same on the other side. Not looking the greatest right now. Take this down. Pull the entire arrow up. Get bigger. Already better. I can have something like this, I guess. Not convinced by the arrow so far. Maybe I can find a better way to do it. What if I just draw it myself? To get the right idea at the start. Also, no, it's not a 1 in a million client to be able to convince someone to pay for your time and your expertise. It's just called branding. You might see this as a simple thumbnail, but the client is incapable of making a thumbnail like this. They need a professional to do it for them. I came up with the idea as well, which makes me an expert in thumbnail design, and that's valuable. Just because something looks simple to make doesn't mean that it's simple for everyone. Terrible. Amazing. Not convinced by the arrow. Is there an alternative? Hammy of a text. Maybe the background should be different. Yeah. Like if the background's different, the window is gonna stand out more. I need the window to stand out because it's OBS. That's important. So red circle for live stream. Place that here. Good. And now let's just experiment with the background. Maybe default to Windows background. It's blue, right? Yeah. Like, let's say I have this Windows background here, but I put it corner. Oh. Need to find some sort of desktop thing I can put in the background. I don't think that making the top of this window blue is gonna look good. Yo, Alejandro, welcome. Love the layout. Who's the client? The client is a channel. I don't know if you know them. It's a kind of a smaller channel, but they're called Harry. They have a channel called WG Mojo and another channel called TikTok Live with Harry, and that's going to be the client for this thumbnail. Okay, let's try a light background for this. How does that look? Whoa. Okay, that color is destined for dark backgrounds. Let me have a look at, how about this? Streamlabs brand guide. Do they have a brand kit? Just want to see what colors Streamlabs likes to use with their brand. Maybe this dark color here. Aha, wait, that looks better. This dark color inside of the logo, I can use that. That does make the window stand out a bit because it's desaturated compared to the background. That's good. I'll do smaller shadow. Gonna be 5% opacity on that. I will lower the opacity of the shadow on the Streamlabs thing. Group this, that's going to be OBS window. Perfect. And then this can be... change this. I could try different text, see what works. This is a bit of a puzzle, right? So when I look at it, right now in the thumbnail, I have empty space here and here. And my goal is to make this element get incorporated into this window. So my initial thought was to just put an arrow like this. But I'm now realizing that elements are a lot larger. So the arrow isn't exactly fitting the way that I intended. Unless I do something like this, where I simplify this a lot. And then I have the arrow shooting through the new open space here. This. I guess that could work. We hide this for now. I'll make the arrow white so it stands out a bit. Okay, now if I hide this part of the arrow, it is slightly smoother than what I had before. Right now I have a problem with the layout I'm gonna have to figure out, but the way that you read this thumbnail right now is that you start in the top left. As you usually do, you start reading left to right. You look at this, and you follow the arrow. You read this as you pass through it, and then you arrive here, and it's kind of unnatural for your eyes to go from here back up to read this text. So I think what I will do is, if I can manage a way to maybe create this pattern where it reads like this and then down here, that's a lot more natural. That sort of pattern where you decipher an image by going across the top, left to right, and then down at a diagonal. That would be the ideal thing, and this arrow goes against it right now. Boink. I have the OBS window at the ready, so I can just move that wherever. For example, I could just put it in the center and then have space on both sides. That is a possibility. I could just have it sort of centered where I have OBS somewhere along the bottom like this, and then I have an arrow going down with the logo on the left, the text on the right, with a vertical layout. I could separate them like this. I actually kind of like that. I separate them. I left align this text. And then maybe an arrow here? Or I move this down and have the text along the top. Definitely some experimenting to do. It's good. So like, if I do this, and move the icon back up. Too cluttered right now. I can simplify still. Like, this pushes the text in the corner and that's too cluttered. I need it to be out of the corner. This text is fully... like, I can put whatever I want here. I think plugin guide is a good combination of words, but there may be something else I'm missing. Any channels to get inspiration for this type of thumbnail? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not really looking at what other channels are doing because I like to do my own thing. I recently started working with a marketing channel and I feel that faceless thumbnails like this could perform well. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've let me dig up some thumbnails I worked on. They are a company, not a personal brand. Right, that makes sense. So I worked on a few thumbnails for this guy called Nate Wealth. I worked with him back when he was doing a game development channel called Nate Dev, and then I started doing a few thumbnails for his channel, Nate Wealth. And I came up with these ideas for like faceless thumbnails that work well in the content creation space, like talking about content creation. There's another one I made on how to get sponsors. Another one about how to get monetized, how he got his channel monetized in 30 days. So you get the idea. It's like faceless, using user interface like this as a sort of baseline for the entire thumbnail. The idea is to try and find the easiest way to incorporate something into an interface with and simplify it as much as possible. You do not want to have any elements that are unwanted, because they obstruct a lot of the clarity of your thumbnail. If someone is spending a lot of time reading information that they are not really supposed to care about, like for example, if I make these white, that's a pretty bad idea, right? Like you're gonna read file, edit, view, but really who cares about this? They're not supposed to be read. So I'm gonna bump them down in brightness. Because my goal is to have them there for the sort of feel of this thumbnail, but I don't want the people to read them because they're ultimately not important. But yeah, the faceless thumbnails like this, they do work well. You just need to find the right simplicity in them. That's the tough part. If you can manage that, then you should be good to go. Maybe what I can do, hold on, try this. I've had that in my mind for a bit. What if I expand this a little bit, go into a new layer, and kind of make this little shape here like it's a puzzle piece, right? Because it's a plugin. Might be onto something. Maybe. It's not perfect right now, but if I copy this, save. It's not perfect, but it could work. Right now it's YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Viewers will experience buffering. Oh boy, what's happening here? Am I lagging? Stream status poor. Is my connection struggling? I'm sorry about that. My Streamlabs is telling me that things are fine, or my OBS rather. But YouTube is telling me that the stream is struggling. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you, Tedium. And welcome. I remember your profile picture from Twitter. I've seen your work. Pretty cool. Dude. This is a challenge. This is a challenge. Like, this is kind of what I like about thumbnail design anyway, right? The idea that it's a sort of puzzle that you can solve. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. I will try and solve this puzzle, see how I can fill the space, make it seem right. The more I struggle with this, the more I turn into a Minecraft villager. Make this a bit small. That's probably a cause of headaches for me, is that it takes so much space. Let's do first star shape on here, polygon, and then you make it a star, I guess. Let's do 4. Oops. Yeah, that works. More rounded. Can I make it rounded on the inside as well, or? Oh, I know how. Wait. How is this shape not changing? Okay, I do this, then I add a stroke, which is the same color, and that should round it. No, it doesn't. Pen tool, curvature, click. Click everything, make everything round. Just making some weird ass shape. I'll take these 4 points, make them smaller. Actually, I can make them larger and make it like a badge, kind of. What I'm trying to do right now is create a sort of badge. This would work. Kinda does work, sure. Then I'll type my text. I'll give it a stroke. Looks very amateur right now. It will get better. Give it a second. That looks like chewing gum. I'm no longer convinced by the shape. I just wanted something to make it stand out, but I'll find a way, I'll find a way. Shadow. Nope, not bevel and emboss, that's not what I wanted. Copy it. Make this one black. So, remove the shadow from this top one. Take black as a color and complete the lines. What? 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 What just happened? Oh god. Okay. Photoshop is throwing a tantrum. One sec. Let me close that. Interesting. I don't know what happened there. Photoshop hit the yoinky sprinky. Hello, Photoshop. Can you open? Thank you. Photoshop slipped and fell, I think. It just died. Okay, well, everything is as it should. It's saved, it's fine. So, save this as new. It's white. Maybe I can still push the window in here. Have a little bit of overlap like this. I do like that. Little bit of overlap. So it's not so straight and ordinate. I could just change this text like this. Push that window down a little bit. Bit of a quieter stream than the last one that we did. That's okay. I don't mind it. What to do with that arrow? It's a bit awkward right now. Because if I make it point down like this, it points at the window for OBS, but it also points at file, which is just kind of random. I don't need it. A lot of text. A bit more text than I intended. I'm gonna go in the OBS window and change the opacity of these, or the value of these, I guess. They should be even less noticeable. I don't really care about these. There should be more like a texture on the window. the camera? No camera today. I couldn't really be bothered, and because I'm streaming at the end of the day, the lighting is going to change a lot on the camera. I noticed in the last stream that the camera just became kind of difficult to look at the end of the stream. With the sunlight going down, everything was super, I don't know, washed. So I'm taking it easy today. I decided no camera. It feels easier for me to press the go live button if I don't actually have the camera on. And I didn't want to put additional pressure on me to, like, I don't know, look prepared for the stream and yeah, no, set up the camera and everything. I just press go live. It's easier that way. Hello, Karis. What if I do something like this, where I have the OBS window in front of the plugin, and then I put an arrow that like goes inside of here. Let's try that. Like this. Kind of making the arrow by hand. That lock the pixels. I make the arrow green like that, it kind of indicates that it's the app going inside of the other one. Is this thing going in here? I probably have a lot more space to work with if I just get rid of this thing. Hold on. Take all of that, group it, hide it. If I get rid of that entirely, probably a lot easier for me to create the effect I want. maybe. What could I use to indicate that this is OBS Studio? Maybe those blue rectangles that show up when you select something in OBS. Doot, doot. Turn red when something is selected, so maybe I should be using that instead. Ooh. Maybe have the OBS layout underneath the OBS Studio. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Like I had this thing, right? Where, hold on. Get rid of these. I had this thing with the rest of the window here. But it's taking a lot of space, so I'm thinking maybe I can skip out on this and just show something else like this. But it's definitely the right call, just like having this element that reminds you of OBS Studio's layout underneath. I just don't know what element right now. Really loving your thumbnail design skills. Your live stream is super informative and inspiring. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. I'm glad that you can learn something, even though this thumbnail is taking a long time to come up with. Because, I don't know, it's pretty difficult right now. I'm struggling a bit, but I'm glad you're learning a bit from it. How about this? I'm gonna push this here, and this over there, I guess. Need more. Okay, that works. Now push this there, there, and this one needs to be in the middle. Jish or Josh. Yo, what's up, dude? Welcome. That is not centered. This is. Cool. Now take all of these, push it down a bit. Title. The title is still a work in progress. There's not really a title for this video, but it's about this Streamlabs plugin that you can put into your OBS to have like alerts and your chat box and stuff like that. It's meant to be a sort of tutorial on how to use that plugin. We'll probably take the drop shadow off of this and onto the actual group. That makes a lot more sense to me. Should do the same with the bevel and emboss. There we go. So inside of OBS window, we are gonna have an element here. The element I think is gonna be maybe like a donation, because that's one of the things that this plugin can do. Just like display the donations you get on stream. I'm gonna move this closer. Kind of playing around with the size of this rectangle so it feels right. And then position it correctly inside of the window. Then inside of that rectangle, I'm going to put a gradient. The gradient will be from white to white with opacity going down. And then have this opacity start at, I guess 100 is fine, but maybe start at 50. Then lower the opacity of the fill. Okay, there we go. So now inside of the OBS Studio, we have this little element here. Probably simplify this, remove the Streamlabs part, just say plugin. OBS plugin. It says OBS right here. Just say plugin. Sec. Can I grab the Streamlabs text part of the logo and use that as an inspiration for the... Probably can. One sec. Hide the text. Place the logo. Sweet. Let's rasterize it. Delete the actual logo on the left. And color overlay white. Convert to smart object. Okay. And now I guess hide this for now. Let's try and mimic this text with the font I'm using here. Need something rounded. Do I have any rounded fonts? Kinda. It could work. Yeah, that works. I like this better already. Looks a lot nicer than what I had going on. And then I can take... I'm gonna reintroduce the arrow, but this time it's gonna be the right way. That's what I wanted. I wanted to have an arrow that goes from the top right towards this direction. And now I can actually have it. I can have an arrow that goes like this, basically. Like, I drew it really badly, but I can just draw it here. I can just do something like that, right? With an arrow. And that way you understand Streamlabs plugin in OBS. Hopefully. Ba-dum. I'm always struggling with the arrows, man. Every time I try and do arrows in thumbnails, it just feels kind of cheap. I don't like the look of having an arrow in your thumbnail. Feels like you're trying too hard to direct the attention of the viewer to something. where it should just be kind of a natural thing that happens. Why don't you have the OBS Studio section fill the entire thumbnail and have Streamlabs plugin inside of the red rectangle? Yeah. It's just like, if it is an idea, right? What I have as a problem is that if this section here is... If this section here is in the top section, top left, as an actual, like, window would, I feel like people would not really pay attention to it, would very easily skip past it, because we tend to ignore the frame and just look in the middle, right? So yes, the plugin would be visible in the middle, but you wouldn't really understand the context that it is inside of OBS Studio if you put that on the edge of the canvas. Because that's kind of the key part. That's why I'm doing the thumbnail like this, is the idea that I want this to be somewhat in the center, so it's extremely visible, because otherwise it's easy to misunderstand the information for this thumbnail. Because, like, Streamlabs has a streaming software, right? They have Streamlabs OBS. And people know that Streamlabs OBS exists. This is not Streamlabs OBS. This is a plugin. This is a different thing. So I really need that logo here, the OBS logo. The fact that it's OBS Studio and not Streamlabs OBS, I need that to be super emphasized in the thumbnail. So that's why I'm trying to do it the way I'm doing. And let's... But I fully understand your point. Like, it does seem like it would be easier to just utilize the space inside of OBS Studio. But a bit of a struggle to drag attention to the fact that it is OBS and not Streamlabs OBS, because they look very similar. Reduce the size of this. Streamlabs. Oh. Make that a bit larger. Put that here. Take this text down. Push the entire window down. Push the window to the right so that this aligns. Streamlabs plugin OBS Studio. That way the brain can kind of read it in a row. And now I will put a text down here. Or maybe not a text. How about there's a GIF that they have on Streamlabs. It just so happens to be really popular because it's the default for donations. Okay, I have it. Hold on, I have it. This is the default for donations on Streamlabs. So if I put that here, that could be recognizable. I will need to tweak the colors so it's nice and visible, but need this to have more exposure, more contrast, darker shadows, darker black tones. More vibrant colors. Now it pops nicely. Now I can add some text. John donated $7. Something really basic, right? Let's see, what does that look like on a default alert? They use... I think they use this color actually for default. Yeah. And then the rest is white. .99. I will change the font as well. I need something else. I have no other rounded fonts. Need to get me some more. That's ugly. Although I guess they're not exactly using incredible fonts either. What do we have? Something classic. I do need it to be bold, so let's look for that. Bold. What do we have for bold? Simple. Kind of like that. I need the letters to be more squished horizontally though. Oh, what is this? Calibri bold. All right, Calibri, you're my go-to. Let's go. Put a stroke on it. At 10 pixels. To make that zombie a lot less yellow, I guess. I do want it to be green, but I want it to be a cooler tone. Yeah, that's more in the palette of everything else. That can be white. And then they have this funky thing on alerts. I would like to change the text orientation, or not alignment, but like I would like to individually change the letters. I don't think I can do that. Let's say specifically that is a feature from Illustrator. So I will just do this. Stack it here. Go this one. This part. Go. And the N. A silly little detail, but they do that on Streamlabs, so I do want to have that in the thumbnail. What I can probably do inside of the OBS window is hide that red circle. And I can have an arrow. Oh god. My least favorite, the red arrow. The donation. But red goes well with the red here to indicate that this is the plugin is this in OBS. It would kind of tie it together. So, new layer. Arrow here. Okay. And then mask it behind this letter. Whoa, what? Is it transparent? Oh, I'm masking with... That's black. How is that not working? I'm erasing. Why? I was using the background color to erase instead of the foreground. I think this is more effective now. Having a bigger window, and then I can extend the rectangle a bit. I suppose that kind of works. Make the rectangle a bit larger. All the way to the edge here. Move this middle one to the actual middle. And then in the donation, just move the text. It's more on the side. Also move the zombie to the side a bit. I can use less words by changing the OBS studio to just OBS. Make it feel less cluttered that way. And then I'm going to shadow here. I'll make the shadow the same color as the background. That's probably nicer in terms of color palette. And I will add a shadow from the arrow. Select, modify, feather. Let's feather the selection by 10 pixels. Draw the arrow like this, then move it. Oh, sorry, blur it. Put that on multiply. And then move it down. Okay, good. Streamlabs plugin with an arrow. We're in OBS, and there's the thing working. Okay, I'm feeling better about it now. This definitely was a bit of a challenge to get it to that point. But it's working. That's what matters. Size. Creating a little bit more depth using a bevel. Okay. I think that's good for a V1. OBS, we have the text, we have... This needs to be a tiny bit shorter. Too much. There we go. That way I can move the OBS logo down a bit. And then in the background, I will have don't know if this is a good idea. Having a sort of gradient like this in the background. It creates some separation with the window here, but also it drags attention to a corner that really doesn't need it. Could also darken it. Nah, it's useless. Just leave it like that. Do I want to obscure the letters, given this is kind of the main subject of the video? Probably not. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, that looks good. I don't think I need the bevel to be light and dark. I'll just use a tiny white highlight to make some parts of the letters pop a bit. Okay. Size of 5. Just adding a little bit of light at the end. This little rim light here at the top of the logo makes it stand out a bit more. I will do the same to the window. That on screen. 5, 5. This one's going to be on 60%. And the drop shadow, I think I make it a bit more severe. But I put some distance on it. Before, after. Doesn't really change the letters too much, but it does create more separation. Okay. A little busy, but I think in terms of hierarchy, it's not too bad. Like there's a bunch of elements. If you try and think of like the 3 elements rule, there's a lot going on here that we're past the 3 elements. But in terms of hierarchy, you read blocks of information. So we have block number 1, which is you read all of this. Streamlabs plugin with the icon. Block number 2 is OBS. And block number 3 is the plugin. Like ideally you still end up with kinda 3 elements. And then you have this, right? Like that's kind of the structure that I have in terms of layers, where there is Streamlabs plugin, OBS, and then the plugin. So I'm trying to structure the entire thumbnail in a way that doesn't divide too much the composition. Like for example, I could put a color overlay on this. That way nothing is separated from the top group. I kind of like the look with the 2 colors like this, but maybe this is better. Maybe it's better to just have a unified group like this. Kinda dig white though. What do you guys think? Do you prefer Streamlabs being in white with plugin in green like this? Or do you prefer Streamlabs being in green, where the entire top group is in green? Personally, I think I prefer the white. So I think that's what I'm gonna ship. All green, TBH? Oh yeah? Interesting. Like, it does make everything more unified. It does seem like it's more like one group of information now to have all of these elements in the same color. But I can't help but feel like that's too much information at once without segmenting it for a YouTube thumbnail. Because when you do this, you can read this and then plug in as 2 separate blocks, and that allows you to sort of reset mentally before you read both of them. Like, that sounds really stupid in the sense that, like, I'm not trying to say that the viewers are babies who can't read, right? But, like, if you segment the information, it does make it more digestible. And in the end, I feel like that matters a lot on YouTube. Like, if you're gonna have a bunch of text on the thumbnail, which here is Streamlabs plugin, OBS, John donated $7.99. There's a bunch of text, right? If you segment it, like here it's switching color every single word, that makes it more legible, because you can just read one at a time instead of having to go through the entire block. I don't know. That's just my gut feeling on that. Yeah. I think I'm happy with this. I will duplicate that into a single image, and then I will attempt some filters on it just to see if there's anything that I like. Let's see, we can bring up the exposure a bit. That's going to be nice in the end. Contrast can be increased. I'll make the colors more vibrant for sure. What happens when I bump up the clarity here? Oh, it digs those shadows in. I see. Let's do a little bit of that. Texture is really not needed here. There's no texture at all in this thumbnail. It's all digital. I can darken OBS, but at this point I don't think I want to. I think I want to lighten everything a bit. Have that blue in the background pop a little. I don't want to change it too much because it is branding colors for Streamlabs. But it does let me play around a bit with the color scheme of this thumbnail. I do think I need it to be somewhat dark. If I lighten it like this, we lose a bit of contrast. It's just a bit, really, because everything is brought up overall. Detail, sharpening. Sharpening is not necessary either. Everything is sharp in here because I didn't use any blurry assets. Color grading. Well, that one's interesting. I can play around with this and give everything a nice hue. In this case, dark blue is nice. I can make the highlights a different color as well. Like, it becomes easy to get carried away here, so I think I'll just do maybe a tiny bit of blue, bring it into the color scheme. Doing a filter at the end of your work with a thumbnail is so important. It's crazy. Like, you can see the night and day difference between the two just because I'm playing around with a filter at the end. It really just unlocks a bunch of features and potential things that I would take forever to do otherwise, or I just play with a slider and realize something about my thumbnail. It's cool. Here I kind of want to brighten up the bottom bit. Just gonna this a bit. It really does a lot. Pretty crazy. need to mess with any of that. Temperature is a thing as well. Probably don't need to touch that. Make it more green. Branding is green, so I could just slightly go into green. Let's go with like a -10. That's pretty good. Okay. I'm going to call that done. I'll export this, or send it to my client, and I will most likely work on some... Either I will have that as is, or I will work on some changes. But either way, that'll be the end of the stream. I thank you for joining me in this little work session. It definitely helped to have a bit of company, just to bounce my ideas back and forth, speak my thoughts out loud, and see what I can come up with. So thank you for the company. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you had a chill time and that maybe you learned something. And I will see you guys next time. I don't know when the next time streaming will be, but the live stream will be available on my YouTube channel if you go to the live tab. And I did one last week and I did one today, so maybe next week we do another one. So if you want to know when I'm streaming, either subscribe to the channel or follow me on Twitter, which is where I announce if I'm gonna do a stream or not. I'm just gonna tell you on Twitter. It really does depend on how I feel. Streaming is still something kind of intimidating for me, right? I don't really have the habit of streaming anymore. I used to stream a lot more, but now I really want quality in my streams. So it is a bit intimidating. I don't know when the streams are. It really depends on my mood. So yeah, keep notifications on, and I will see you guys next time. And thank you for hanging out. Bye bye.